Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this episode of the Chasing Daylight podcast. Got a special interview series for you today. Dana Finkelstein, LPGA professional, former UNLV golfer, three-time Mountain West Player of the Year, first-team All-American. She wildly talented individual. She's grinding it out there on the LPGA Tour. I've been wanting to get her on the show for a while, and I'm glad that she decided to hop on with us. So kick back and find out what it's like for an LPGA player in 2022 out on tour. Thanks a lot for listening. I'm excited for this episode because somebody that I've been a fan of for a long time is joining us. I've been trying to get her on the show for a while. Our schedules aligned perfectly. Dana, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you have had a kind of an up and down roller coaster career so far in professional golf. But before we get into that, let's go back to the beginning. Where did your passion for golf start, and when did you start playing the game?
So I played a bunch of other sports when I was a kid, but golf has kind of always been a part of my life. My dad, we actually were going through family photos like during COVID, and we came across like my first birthday, and I got a set of like plastic golf clubs. So I guess you could say when I was like one. But my dad has always played, and I've always kind of been involved in golf since I was a little kid. But I really kind of stopped other sports and only stuck to golf when I was like 11, 12 years old.
Did you play high school?
Yeah. So high school, I would say, is kind of when I really started getting serious about golf and, wanting to get to that next level of like getting a college scholarship and just improving like that.
So what was it that like got you on the golf path versus the other sports? Golf is such a unique sport. It's unlike any other sport that there is. And so when was it that you went, oh wow, I'm good at this and I could do something with this?
So I was actually really good at basketball and a couple other sports too, but when I really decided golf was my thing was when I didn't grow. I'm, 5'1", and I knew golf was like that one sport where you watch it on TV and not everyone was like this, 6-foot built athlete. And so I knew it was something that I could take to that next level. It's worked out really well so far.
Yeah. Short people unite. Yes.
Yes.
How was your junior career? Did you participate in many events or was it high school and then you started getting some recognition and the scholarship started coming in?
Yeah, so I started locally with LPGA USGA Girls Golf of Phoenix. So that was just kind of really on a like low level where, you'd go out on a Sunday and compete against like 9 holes with some other girls. It was really just laid back. They didn't care what you were shooting. But that kind of just got me rolling. And then I went into our other local league in Arizona, JGAA, and started competing in a lot more of those throughout the summer because they had a lot more like events, every week during summer break. And then once I started kind of winning locally, my parents thought maybe we should branch out and start doing some AJGA stuff and a little bit more into like California because that's where a lot of, the good kids at the time were, and you kind of had to play against them to get your name recognized in like the college coaching pool type of thing. So I kind of branched out, I would say nationally when I think I was like 15 or 16, because that's kind of when college coaches need to see your name so you can kind of get an idea of like where you might be able to go and how you stack up like with other girls nationally, like ranking wise, essentially.
Do you know what your highest junior ranking was?
Ooh, that's a good question. I know I was probably like top 5 in the state of Arizona for my graduating class, but nationally, I don't know. I was probably in the top 50, I would think. I mean, I was okay. I wasn't great. I mean, I won a fair share tournaments, but there were definitely a lot of kids that were way better than me at the time.
So how did UNLV come into the mix? So that's how I met Dana, is through UNLV. I'm a UNLV fanboy and love all sports UNLV. And so I started following you there. But how did you get to UNLV with, I mean, there's some good schools in Arizona.
Right, yeah. I did really want to go to ASU, because that's just where my entire family has gone over the years. So I'm one of the only people of my family that didn't go to ASU. But I wasn't good enough. Like, I wasn't good enough to get into ASU. I wasn't good enough to go to U of A. The coaches had offered me walk on, which I didn't want to do. But then I was also looking at a couple schools in California. I was looking in Oregon. I wanted to stay somewhere where, like, on the West Coast where the weather was decent. And I think I had reached out to, it was Missy at the time was the coach and Amy was the assistant. They actually might have reached out to me, and that's kind of what sparked my interest. Knew it, like, it fit a lot of my boxes because it was close to home and they had good golf and warm weather. And I think they were like my second or third trip. And once I got there and met them, I knew where I wanted to go. It felt right.
And you had a stellar college career. Not just good, you had a fantastic college career. Was that unexpected, or did you have the mindset like, I'm going to go up there and just kick ass?
It was kind of unexpected, to be honest. Like, I went up there, like, I was just an okay junior golfer. Like, I didn't know I was gonna, like, blossom into this, top college athlete that, graduated, I think I finished second in the nation when I was a senior. But I think having structured schedules and, like, practicing every day and playing every day, like, it's hard not to get better if that's what you want. And that's what I wanted. So I worked really hard at it. I was in the gym ready to go. When I was at practice, I was ready to go. And I just progressed every year in college. And I had an okay freshman year, an okay sophomore year, and then kind of something clicked. And my junior and senior years in college, I won a handful of tournaments, and our team was really good too, which I think helped really push me because I wanted to do well for everyone and, build that program and make it better. And I had a great time, and it helped me take my game to that next step too. I had no desires to turn professional when I went to college. Like, I wasn't good. Yeah, I wasn't good enough. Like, I knew that. I knew the reality. Like, I was going to school to get an education I wanted to be a physical therapist. But then it's hard not to try that next level when you're one of the best in the country as an amateur. You see everyone succeeding around you who were good amateurs in the pro ranks. So I felt like I needed to give it a shot, and I'm really glad I did.
Yeah. Do you still stay in touch with a lot of girls from the team?
From my class, yes, a few. I don't know any of the new ones. They're too young. Yeah, I've been gone. I feel old. But the team actually was in Arizona this week, and I went to watch them play yesterday, and so it was good to see Amy, and they have a new assistant that I met, and I don't know any of the kids, but they seem like they're pretty legit this year, so it's good to see.
Yeah, they're playing pretty well. So from college, you this is where I talked about the little roller coaster, because you, like, blew up on the Cactus Tour, did great on the Symetra Tour, which I just, looking at stuff today, it's now called the Epson Tour. Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, new sponsor.
Yeah, so you blew up on that, went to the LPGA, and I've talked with you a little bit about this when we played out at Revere a couple years ago. Little bit of a shock going from college, Cactus, Symetra to LPGA. So let's first talk about the Cactus Tour, because you weren't there long because it was the level of competition just was beneath you. I didn't. you like kicked ass literally, and quickly got promoted to the Symetra Tour. So what was it like going from Cactus to Symetra?
Yeah, so Cactus, I think I just came out really hot as a professional because I was on such a hot streak in college that I thinking back on it, like I was probably really cocky because I just felt like I could beat anyone at any point. And I mean, I kind of did. I think I won like 3 out of my 6 Cactus Tour events, and I think I lost in a playoff in 2 of them. So, I mean, it was a good run, and that run actually kind of funded Q school for me, because Q school is expensive for anyone starting their professional career. It's, the entrance alone's $5,000, and then you have to travel to those places and pay a caddy and a week in a hotel. I mean, it gets pricey. So I got through all 3 stages, and that's how I got my Symetra status. And then yeah, right after that, I mean, I went straight out there, and I can't quite remember how I started, but I think I started pretty hot out there too. I want to say, like, my second tournament in Florida, I finished, I want to say top 5 or something.
It was like mid-season too, wasn't it?
It's because Symetra has a weird kind of start where I think we had one in California, and then we had like a month off, and then we went to Florida, and then I think we really kind of started playing in like May. But yeah, it was a good transition from college to Symetra. But then
What was the
go
big
ahead.
difference with Symetra compared to Cactus? What did you see? What did you notice?
Well, it was a lot bigger stage. I mean, you're going from Cactus being in my home state where I can sleep in my bed, and I drive, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour to wherever the course is, and drive back home, and it's like, it's easy. Like, there's no getting on an airplane, and there's no renting cars and playing practice rounds because I know most of the courses in Arizona. But yeah, going to that next level, it's a big change, like booking all your travel and finding a place to stay, rental cars, flights, feeding yourself during the week. I mean, it's there's a lot of things that then all of a sudden you have to be accountable for. Whereas like in college, I mean, coach does everything for you, and you just show up and you play. So
We're Nish and Chris, 2 very amateur golfers on a quest to play the top 100 courses in the UK and Ireland, after Chris set this challenge on a drunken Saturday night in my kitchen. Join us on our frequently humorous journey of a lifetime as we grapple with the logistical and financial challenge of playing some of the best courses in the world, as well as grappling with our games, because let's face it, it's never just about playing. Sometimes the score matters too. Listen to the Top 110 Golf Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you see the more skilled players? Was because you said you were cocky, and rightfully so. I mean, dominating in college, you go to Cactus, you're dominating there. You're at Symetra. Was it that skill level that you went, oh wow, these girls can play, or was it until you got to the LPGA when you went, whoa, this is golf?
yeah, I think it was kind of LPGA when I was like, whoa, this is like another level up. I need to get a lot better. Nothing against Symetra, like they have a lot of really good players, but I also, like I said, I was still kind of in that mindset. Like, I knew a lot of the girls out there that were in college when I was, and I'd win against them essentially, and I just knew that I could keep doing that out there. And so I think I had a really good mindset out there, that I can just go out and win like every week, like I knew I could. But then when I got to the LPGA, I kind of lost a little of that spunk in me. Like, I was playing against people I looked up to my whole life, and there's just so many cameras and media. There's just so much more to it, and I had never competed against like any of those girls. Like I hardly knew any of the names, other than like, the greats and stuff, like, Paula Creamer and Natalie and Yanni and all those people that were dominating at the time. But I think slowly right now, like I'm starting to get that like spunk back in me where like I know I can, like, I've been playing against these girls for the last 4 years, and I definitely know my game's starting to get to that level where like I'm gonna win, and it's gonna be soon. So
a lot of athletes, when they have peaks and then they kind of get knocked back a little bit, a lot of them struggle with that, and a lot of them take, hey, this is some adversity, I got to get through it. You didn't retain your card. You went back down to Symetra, stepped your game back up again, and got back to the LPGA. What was that like going through that? Because as somebody who had a great college career, great on Cactus, great on Symetra, like we said, to get smacked back a little bit on what you're good at, what was that like going through that?
Yeah, I think it was a good kind of like punch to the gut, I guess, like to wake me up and like, hey, like that's where I wanted to be. Like I want to be on the LPGA, and I knew I had to like just dig deep and get it done again. Which I don't think I had a very good start to my 2018 season on Symetra, but towards the end, like I was outside of that top 10, and I knew I needed to get back inside of that top 10 if I didn't want to go to Q school, because no one ever wants to go to Q school. It's a grind. It's no fun.
That's a lot of golf with a lot of talent.
Yeah, so I can't quite remember that year perfectly, but I know like the last 3 or 4 tournaments I finished like runner up and maybe 5th and then runner up again, and that snuck me into that 10 spot right on the number at tour finals, and I got my card back that year.
So was that the first time because in college of course you want to win, and you're playing for a team and the school, but was that like the first time you had to experience, I have to play well if I'm going to go forward? Because money is great and titles are great, but if I don't play well here, I'm not going to the LPGA Tour. Was that the first time you experienced that type of pressure in golf?
I would probably, yeah. It was definitely kind of like a high pressure situation, but I also knew that if I didn't get it done, I had a fallback. Like I could go to Q school. There's always that avenue, but like I said, like Q school is like the one place you don't want to go. It's so high stress, and it's it's like a make it or break it week. But I kind of treated the end of Symetra season in 18 as a make it or break it, and I think I perform really well when I'm under pressure and like when I know I need to get something done. Like Amy could definitely agree. Like in college, I always wanted to know like what I needed to do for the team to like win, or what I needed to do for myself. Like if I needed a birdie the last, and a lot of people don't like knowing, but I like knowing, and I like looking at leaderboards, and I feel like I do a pretty good job of getting it done. So
I'm the exact opposite. As soon as I know where I'm at, if I'm doing well, gone. I would not be a good person on that. No, it's terrible. Terrible. Okay, so you get back on the tour. Second time. How was it different this time?
Yeah, in 2019, I felt a lot more comfortable. Like I knew a lot of the girls, I knew the staff, I knew the golf courses, which I think is huge. Like not having to show up as a rookie and play 18 holes on Monday and Tuesday to learn the golf course, whereas you can, save your legs a little bit and play 9 holes, and you're just not as tired. Like being a rookie is really tough. You think going into it like, oh, like I play 18 holes all the time, no big deal. But when you play 18 holes, essentially you make the cut. It's like 6 18-hole rounds a week times so many weeks in a row, and then they don't tell you to take a week off, and because you feel like you have to play every week, and it's a lot. But yeah, 2019, I was just a lot more comfortable. I had a good caddy that year.
Today's episode of the Chasing Daylight podcast is sponsored by Chasing Aces Golf. Golf comes with pressures and expectations, and that includes what you wear. Chasing Aces hats, performance polos, and t-shirts keep you looking sharp from the clubhouse to the tee box. Visit ChasingAcesGolf.com, and you can find them on Instagram as well at Chasing Aces Golf. Even the best are chasing aces. So what would be a podcast without technical difficulties, right?
Yeah.
Blame the Arizona Wi-Fi network. So welcome back. So we were talking about your life on the LPGA Tour now, or when you got back, and I don't remember exactly where we were.
Yeah, I'm not sure when my Wi-Fi cut out there.
So let's talk about your last season leading up into this season. You've had some changes with your staff, personally, your caddy, right? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think that's where we kind of left off. I was talking about my 2019 season, and I had a pretty good caddy that year, and I think that's kind of what helped me have a good year that year. But then once we finished that year, it was too much travel for him, and he wanted to stick home and stay with his family and whatnot, which I totally get. It's a tough lifestyle. It's not for everyone. But yeah, so my boyfriend Henry.
Hey, I'm Bob West, your Vegas golfing real estate agent. Over the course of a 4-hour round, I can help you with some tips to lower your scores. I can also help you with your goals when it comes to buying or selling a home anywhere in Las Vegas or Henderson. Reach out to me on Instagram at @TheBobWest, or just send me a text at 605-881-5481. Give me a call. Let's play around.
Okay, so everybody apologize about the technical difficulties. Stuff like this happens. It's real life, you know. So you were talking about Henry and how Henry, sorry. It's Henry, right?
Henry, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Talk about how Henry, your boyfriend, is caddying for you now. How's that working out for you?
Yeah, it works out really well. I think having trust in who's with you, we're on the golf course 24/7 I think you really have to have someone that you trust their opinions and their thoughts, and he knows my game so well now that it works really well. Like, there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I don't know how you do it." Like, I could never have my boyfriend or my husband work for me, but yeah, our relationship is it's really good, and like, we know to keep the golf stuff on the golf course, and then when we're done for the day and we go home, we're really good about separating like golf and then our other life, essentially.
So are you guys like golf geeks to where you obsess about? I mean, with me, I'm 24/7 golf. Whether it's TikTok, Instagram, the podcast, the blog, playing, recording content, just building. I got to build shop now. Got my swing studio out there, putting green in the backyard. I live it. So are you guys nuts like that?
Yeah, I'd say he is more so than I am. He's always, even just like when we're in the bedroom, like he'll have a golf club in his hand, always working on a swing or giving a lesson or trying to figure something out. But yeah, I mean, it's our life. Like, we love it, and I don't think we'd want it any other way. So yeah, we're golf junkies, basically.
That's awesome. I love it. What's your home course in Arizona?
I'm out at Superstition Mountain, which is out in Gold Canyon, Arizona.
I've heard from a couple different people. There was a Tom Doak course that it was one of his first American courses out in Globe on the Indian reservation. Do you know because it's not crazy far from the Superstition Mountains. So do you know, is that open and running, or is it?
I have no idea, actually. Like, no, I know where Globe is. I didn't even know they had a golf course over there. So
yeah, he actually pulled his name from it. Tom Doak did, because it kind of got ran into the ground by the tribe. So I don't know if it's true, if it's open. I heard it opened up again, but I just don't know. I was curious if you.
Yeah, I have no idea on that one.
It was his first American golf course. I'm a Tom Doak nut. I played Stream Song Blue and just fell in love with his design. And then Pack Dunes and Old Mac Abandon are just two of my favorite courses. So, so what? This season, you've played 2 events, right? And you made a post the other day that got me inspired to improve my putting. You've really made some like effort to get better, and I love seeing it. Your putting, you went from what was it, 3rd or 4th in strokes gained putting?
I think in Boca I was 3rd, and then the second tournament I think I was like 40 something ish, which is still like way better than my average. So after 2 events, I mean that's some good signs.
So what is it that's made that you've done for the changes?
I just think a lot of it's like consistency. We work really, really hard. Like you asked with the tools that I use, that mirror and the gate, that if you can consistently set up the same exact way every time, and that face is pointing where you need it to, and the ball's starting on line or on your intended line of where you're aiming, like the only other factor that comes into play is green reading, because I feel like my speed's always pretty good. So if you can kind of eliminate the amount of variables you have, it's kind of nice to step up to a putt, and if you think you've got a good read on it and you're set up correctly, like I know I'm going to start the ball on line and I know it's going to go in. So that's kind of what we worked on this whole last off season.
And you're I mean, it's showing, right? Have you always thought yourself as a good putter, or did you know that's an area that you could improve on?
Everyone around me has always told me I'm a good putter, but I didn't really believe it until recently. There just wasn't a really good way to like keep stats on it, and I just never really kind of like had a deep picture of my putting game. And now being able to see some of the stuff with like the new stuff the LPGA is doing and some of the stuff I keep in Decade, I've been able to kind of get a clearer image of what my weak part of putting was, and I worked really, really hard on it this off season, and it's definitely paying off so far.
What was the weak part?
For me, it was like 8 to 10 feet was kind of the, stat, or Mark Brody's percentages say at 8 feet you should make 50%. I think my percentage was like below 30 or something, so it was pretty far off. So we worked really hard on that range, and I can't remember what it is now at this point, but I know it was significantly better.
How difficult is it going from different golf courses with different green complexes with different grass, and each week? I mean, you go from, or not necessarily each week, but you're traveling to different courses, you play different regions, and the grass how long does it take you to get used to it, put it that way?
I feel like I've adjusted pretty well, because I know how many different types of grasses we get through the year. Like even those first 2 weeks in Florida, you'd think, oh, you're in Florida, like, oh, it's Bermuda, like that's all you need to get used to. But we actually had Paspalum that second week. So we had a really strong grain Bermuda and Boca, and then we went to Fort Myers and had Paspalum. So 2 totally different kind of grasses, even though we're in the same state. Henry's really, really good at like reading grain and reading greens, and I think that's kind of helped me adjust better to learning like the different conditions. But it's still kind of tough. It usually takes like a day or so.
It sucks for me. Because my putting green in the backyard is really fast. I mean, it rolls at like a 14. It's crazy fast. And the courses in Vegas. Unless you're playing some of the premier courses, the greens are so inconsistent out here. Sometimes they're slow, sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're long. So it doesn't. I don't think me practicing on that green actually helps me as much as I would like it to. But I picked up that mirror. I'm gonna give that a shot and see. I've always thought of myself as a good putter, but stats don't say that's the truth. So So now that you've been on the PGA or the LPGA for a couple of years, your schedule, you get a little bit more freedom for creating your schedule, right? It's not so much pressure if you have to get in every event to get as much points as you can. Have a little bit more freedom. So how are you guys deciding what events to play in?
Well, there's still a few on this schedule this year that I have to qualify into, like especially the one in Vegas, the match play one. I probably need a couple more good tournaments to get into, or, I'm trying to work that sponsors exemption, but we'll see what happens with the politics of the LPGA.
That was a great event last year.
I know. I wanted to play in it so badly. I was second alternate, and I was like, I'm so close. But
there's not too many people that are going, no, I don't want to go to Vegas and play Shadow Creek. So
right. Yeah. The only problem with where it falls in the schedule, it's the week before the U.S. Open, so I think that's why they don't get all the top girls into that event. But they still last year. I mean, it pulled a great field. I mean, it was really fun to watch. Like, I mean, we watched it on TV, and I think Allie, did Allie win?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, she played great, and I had a couple other friends that played really great, and they loved the venue. So
it was a blast.
Yeah, that's one of my goals this year. I really want to play that event. So, other than that,
to get media passes to it, and so we spent a couple days out there. And the people that put it on, I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was sponsored by Bank of Hope and MGM. So, they did a really good job.
So, what event are you most looking forward to this season?
Ooh. That's a good question.
What's the one that's circled on the calendar?
Honestly, probably Vegas. Like, that's the big one I want to get into. That and the U.S. Open. U.S. Open's the one major I haven't played in yet. So I'd like to get that on my schedule this year.
How far away are you from claiming a spot?
I probably have to qualify. There's a way you can sneak in through world rankings, but with how little time we have in tournaments coming up, I don't know if I can climb that quickly. Because I think you have to get in the top 75. But, I mean, a win would go a long way. I bet that would help bump my ranking up. So, we'll see what happens.
Where's the Open at this year? The U.S. Open?
It's at Southern Pines.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've played in the Women's Open Championship, the British Open?
Yeah, I got an opportunity to play during our COVID year. It was at Royal Troon, which was awesome.
You spent how was it, a couple weeks you spent over there? Because I remember the photos from last year.
So that was in 2021 when we played Ireland and Scotland. The Open I played in was 2020.
Okay, 2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, it was Royal Troon is a treat. That was such a good golf course, and the AIG and the staff over there in Scotland and just the people there. It's such a and it's a major championship. They just go above and beyond with everything. Anything you need, locker room's great, food's great. It's one of those weeks that you wish every week was like that. It's just, it's top notch type stuff.
Okay, so you played in France at the Avion?
Yes, I've played Avion. Mm-hmm.
What is that place like? Because we played at 5 Iron. We have the indoor golf league, and so we play. They do different course every week, and we played that course, and it's like built on the side of a hill, isn't it?
It's built on the side of a mountain.
It is crazy. Some of the shots he had. What was it like playing that one?
Oh, that golf course is a bear. You never have a flat lie, and they grow some really deep rough there, and the greens are firm and small because it's Europe. It's a challenging venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that the way that the European course is set up is more beneficial to the European players overall, or do you think the American players have a better advantage because of how vast and different the courses are out here?
No, I'd say those European girls seem to have a better advantage over there. It's just different golf. Like, over here in America, usually things are so soft. You can fly to the hole. You don't have to worry about rollouts but then over there, it's, they play in wind a lot, which it tends to always be windy, like for the Opens and Scottish, and even in Evian, it gets pretty windy there. But I feel like I'm finally starting to kind of figure out European golf, like knowing that you can't always just fly it to the hole, and especially some of the short game shots around the green, like you have to learn to, bump and run things. You can't always just pull lob wedge out of your bag.
Do you think that hurts those players coming over here to where it's opposite? Like you can flag hunt, or do you think they just adapt no problem?
I think they've adapted somewhat, but I do think like the Europeans tend to play better when we have courses that are firm and fast. When things are soft, I think it plays more into the Americans' hands, but because you kind of saw that at Solheim this year, where the course it played really firm and fast, and the Europeans ended up winning. So I don't feel like that plays into the U.S. Type of golf very well.
So how many countries have you been to? Are you keeping track?
Not really. I mean, I've been to Australia, Europe. I haven't been Asia. Still one of those places that I need to get to. But I think Asia is the only one on our schedule that I haven't been to. Because we don't go into like any other countries really other than Australia, Asia, and Europe, and then Canada. So
you know how the PGA and the DP World Tour, they kind of swap back and forth. Players go over there, some players come over here, back and forth. Can you guys do that with the LET?
Yes. You usually have to get like a sponsor's invite unless you're like an LET member, which a lot of our LPGA players are like dual members of LPGA and LET. So a lot of times they'll go over and play a few events throughout the year, like maybe some of the ones that are like a bigger purse. But yeah, we don't like, I think our tour is totally okay with girls going over, because that tour needs to be strong too for ours to succeed. So
have you thought about going over there to play any events?
Not really. Maybe if,
I'm sure it's a big nut to, go over there, flights and lodging and everything.
Especially there and back. I mean, I play, technically they're co-sanctioned. The one in Ireland and the one or Scottish Open are co-sanctioned events, so they're technically LET events also. So I'll play in those, but as far as like any other tournament, I probably won't just make a special trip over unless it's, unless there's some sort of reason to.
Okay, so one other thing that you've been working on was your swing speed. You've been using the stack system. Is that what it's called, right? Stack?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how is that going for you?
It's going well. We're still trying to like tweak driver and get the length and the loft and the lie to where it's like most optimal, which I think we've come to a better solution. Like those first two events in Florida, we were trying something and it did not work well. It was some of like my worst driving I've ever had in my career, which is like super strange because it's like the best part of my game. Like if you look at my fairway percentage, those 2 weeks, it was like,
yeah. Well, I was stat. I know you're a stat junkie because you've shared spreadsheets with me before. So I was gonna ask you, see how well you know your stats. So I did a little research. What was your best ranking stat of 2021?
2021? Oh,
yeah.
Gosh.
The stat you ranked the highest in.
On best. LPGA's website?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, it's probably driving accuracy.
Yeah. You were third.
Yeah.
at 83%.
Yeah.
So there's only been 2 events this year, but what's your highest ranking stat this year?
I would imagine it's probably putting, some sort of putting category.
Yeah, putting average.
Yeah.
29.0.
Yeah.
Which is 22nd, which, I get mad when I have 30-31 putts, and I'm like, you need to be at 26. You need to be at 26 putts if you want to play better. Being 22nd on the LPGA with 29 that's pretty good. 29 it's more realistic expectations, Matt. More realistic expectations.
Yeah. 29, that'll make you a lot of money throughout the year.
Yeah. So you like all the changes that you're going through with the stack, the swing speed, the putting?
Yeah, things are good in my game. I also went through a whole bag change last year. All my clubs were with, have you heard of the gears, the like 3D analysis where they throw all the dots on you and stuff?
Yeah.
So I was on gears about a year ago, or 2 years ago now, I suppose, because we kept getting my swing into this position that we wanted to, and I would just hit it left. Couldn't figure out why. Turns out my golf clubs were way too long, way too upright. And so me trying to get into those positions that my coach wanted to, we went on gears, and club was coming in like 6-7 degrees too upright. Handle was raising, was the only way I could get the ball in the center of the face. So I was doing all these things to like compensate. So basically, we chopped my clubs down, I think 3/4 of an inch, and then flattened them.
That's a big change.
It's a big change. And then we flattened them an additional 2 degrees. So like effectively they went another 4 degrees flat.
Wow.
They were at like, I think they were at 1.5 flat. So now like effectively they're like almost 6 degrees flat. And we
Short people rock.
I know. We saw an immediate change on gears. Center contact, didn't have to raise the handle at impact. And the club was like, impact was like, it was like almost dead zero. So no more like 6 degrees with like the heel catching on the ground. So no more left shots for me, which is nice.
That's very interesting. I'm struggling right now with an early release, and my left arm is bending at impact, and so now that's gonna make me look at that. So
yeah,
thank you.
It's honestly, it's like, I just think, nothing against club fitters and stuff, but I think there's like this like perfect like 5'9" person that they put everyone into, and they're like, oh, this is
what you need.
Yeah, this is what you need. You need 2 degrees upright. And also like the whole upright thing with all these people in long clubs is affixed to like fixed slices, but all it does is make you like raise the handle even more instead of actually fixing the golf swing with flatter clubs to then get your golf swing into a position instead of just throwing long and upright clubs into people's hands. It's something that me and my coach and my boyfriend we're pretty passionate about now, because
let's start a movement. Yes,
I know, but people need flatter clubs, flatter and shorter clubs. It makes so much sense.
It's I was just talking with my buddy Joe, because I'm this early release is probably the hardest thing that I've ever tried to deal with. Coming over the top, I was able to fix that, and other swing flaws I've been able to get corrected and play better. But this early release has been killing me. So for 2 weeks, I've just been grinding at it. And so I have a really good close friend of mine that helps me a lot, but he's just like burnt out on golf right now. So he's like, we can talk about anything else but golf right now. And I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks, because I'm like obsessed with this. I got to figure it out. So James Fights, who down there in Arizona, I've been chatting with him and a couple other people around here, and a couple of my friends are fitters. And so I told Joe, I said, I'm going to put together a TikTok story about screenshots about what fitters say compared to what coaches say. It is night and day, the information that comes back from a player, a coach, and a fitter. And it's like, no wonder everybody's so damn confused in this game, because nobody's on the same page.
Yeah, and that's where I think a lot of it's like trial and error too. Like, just because impact tape or a lie board tells you this is what you need. I don't know. I think it's just you have to work with your coach to see what you're trying to accomplish in your golf swing and then build clubs around that.
So did you change equipment, or did you just change the settings on how they're built?
Basically just the settings on how they're built. I'm still with Ping. We changed shafts. I went from the steel fibers to a KBS, just to get some more. Those steel fibers are such a hot like launching club. I needed something with a little more launch and spin. So that was like, as far as like shafts go, that was like a change. But heads are the same. I play the I-210s. Fairways all the same. I did also ditch my hybrids for a 7-wood and a 9-wood for, again, more launch and more spin. And then I ditched my 6-iron and 7-iron for a 6 hybrid and 7 hybrid, which those things just like, they launch so high and spin so much. It's like I have no problems holding firm championship greens anymore, which is nice. Yeah.
Did you have was there an ego thing involved with that wasn't why you didn't do it sooner? Because I mean, everybody's going to go hybrids. What are you doing playing hybrids? 6, 7 hybrids. But yeah. I'm all for whatever's going to get you the best score. Was there a little bit of ego check involved in doing that?
I mean, the 7-iron, a little bit, because I was like, I can still hit a 7-iron. It was still somewhat decent, but once you see the numbers on paper and, like, I was hitting it closer than a lot of girls were with their wedges on tour, it's like, ugh, I have no problem whipping this thing out and hitting it to 10 feet when they throw their pitching wedge to, like, 20. It's like, all right, this thing's a moneymaker.
That's awesome. So what golf ball are you playing?
I am actually playing the Pro V1 Star. It is
What?
Yeah, it is a tour only special ball for tour players. It's the Pro V1 from 20. When did they changed over in like 2018? So it's like it's got the high spin, soft feel of a Pro V1 and high launch. Because then when they switched balls a few years ago, they like flipped the characteristics. Yeah, so like the Pro V1 was soft, but it didn't spin enough for me, and it launched lower. So the Star ball they make is a really good option for me.
The Star ball. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of the Titleist Star ball.
Yeah, it's one of those secret ones. Like, I know they finally offer like the left dash to the public now, but
and people went nuts.
Yeah.
And I mean, I played the left dash, and because, being a low spin ball helps me because, I put a lot of spin on the ball. So I liked the characteristics of it. But when people were selling, a sleeve for $75, I was like, okay, we could wait for that to come back to earth a little bit.
Yeah, people would probably go crazy over this ball, but it's also a ball that like a lot of people don't need to be playing. I don't produce a whole lot of spin in my golf swing, so it's something that really helps me. But as far as like the general public goes, like they would never put this ball into production because it just would never sell, I don't think.
What would you say it's similar to?
I would say it's really similar to Pro V1 from, it was like 2017, 2016 season.
Interesting.
So a couple, before they switched the characteristics of the ball. So
and you still are 14 clubs with Ping?
Yeah. Yep. All 14 Ping. Yep.
So how often do you want to tinker and try out other stuff?
Right. I used to be a tinker. Like I used to love trying new things, but I think my bag is really good right now. I think we put together a really good set, and my golf swing's in a good place that I don't think I'm going to do any tinkering. Especially not during season. Maybe this coming off season. I think Ping's got a pretty good launch of stuff coming out this summer. But yeah, I'm not going to touch my bag until probably next November.
Nice. Okay, so Vegas question. I always try to ask this if anybody that's been to Vegas or played in Vegas. Favorite course in Vegas that you've played?
Okay. That's such a hard question. I have a few.
Okay, rattle them off.
Okay, I really like Cascada. I really like South Shore. I think I have one of my best rounds in Vegas out of South Shore.
That's a fun course.
Yeah. And then I also really like Southern Highlands.
Yeah, the Collegiate Masters is going on right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's some amazing golf. I'm going out there tomorrow. So, have you played Shadow?
Once. Yeah. So
what did you think?
I mean, it was like flawless. It was.
Well, yeah, of course, everybody knows that.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you think about playing that golf course?
It was pretty fun. I think we were out there when it was like a pretty miserably windy day. You know how we get those in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But I honestly
Call that January through March.
Yeah, I don't remember much of it. Like I remember the par 3 towards the end and like the first hole and a couple others, but like some of those like in between holes, I just can't quite. They're kind of lost in my memory. But yeah, I hope I get another opportunity to play it sometime soon.
Yeah, hopefully for the match play.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Right? Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. You know what? Let's ask one more question. Let's get a deep question, deep thoughts kind of question. If you could tell anybody out there listening that doesn't watch the LPGA, what is something that you would tell them why they should watch?
Well, I think if you ever have an opportunity to come watch us play in person, that's where you'll see like the really big difference. Like we engage with our fans. Like people can talk to us. We're going to talk back. If you ask for an autograph mid-round, we're going to give you an autograph. Like I think we just really engage well with our fans. It's kind of hard to grasp that on TV, but
I
didn't
even know that.
Yeah, because I've been to plenty of PGA Tour events, and there's so many people, and there's so many ropes in between them and then the fans. Whereas like on the LPGA, you can get really close to us. Like we have plenty of events where like the ropes on the driving range are like right there. You can see in our bags. Like you could ask us a question. So I think it's just like there's a big difference there. It's hard to see it on TV, but I think we're a lot more sociable and engaging with our fans, and I think that's why once people get to know us and get to know like what we're about, they're instantly fans, and I think that's really cool.
Do you like the engagement with the fans? Or because I know some people could be annoyed by that, and some people, I got to put on the face to make sure that, everything goes well and nobody puts out a TikTok video about me doing something stupid. But do you enjoy it, or is it work?
Yeah, I enjoy it when it's not during competition. Like there are plenty of times where kids ask during a round, and like I'm never gonna turn a kid down. But like if I'm, round 4 and someone asks for an autograph that's not a kid, like I'll probably say, hey, like after the round, come find me. But like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah, I'm all about it. Like ask me as many questions as you want. I'll sign as many things as you want. Like I love it. So yeah.
One of the most amazing things that I've seen in the last 12 months is another Vegas golfer, Danielle Kang, was signing the covers of the golf magazines in the airport. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That made me laugh.
That was amazing because, some people aren't even going to know. And then like there are all the people that do know. And I mean, it's that level of character that you guys have out there that I wish more people could get involved and see, because it's amazing. There's some absolutely amazing people on the LPGA, and I'm glad things are taking upwards for the tour. I think it's kind of been a rough going the last couple of years, but I think you guys are on the right path, and I'm happy to see the payouts are increasing and more television coverage. So it's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think some good years are ahead for the LPGA.
I agree. Well, good luck in when's your next event?
Not till I think we start March 24th. We'll go down to Aviara for that one.
Nice. All right. Well, good luck with that. Tell Henry we said hello, and he's more than welcome to join us next time if you guys want to come back on.
Okay.
I love the golf teachers too.
Yeah,
They're
definitely.
fun
Yeah.
So, good luck. Have a great season. We look forward to watching you out there, and thanks for coming on.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for having me.